Melbourne make the prelim after a win against the Lions.
Port Adelaide surge into the prelim by demolishing Geelong.
And Essendon and the Sydney Swan season is over after losing in the elimination finals against GWS and also Western Bulldogs.
Tasmania.
Seamless. This is the DrewFooty Show.
Hey, long road, took a tumble down this black hole. Stuck in Sunday League, but I'm on levels with
Hello,
Ronaldo.
Geelong, and welcome back to another episode of the DrewFooty Show Finals Round 1 preview. I don't know why I'm speaking like a robot, but yeah, go follow the DrewFooty _ Instagram account to be involved in next week's show and every show for the rest of this show's existence.
Go!
We hit my sub goal of 5.5k in August, so give it up for yourselves. But that's not enough. We keep going. I want to hit 6k by grand final day or by the end of the month. So that's about 100-ish a week. So if you're enjoying the content, make sure you're subscribed and just support me, please. I need help. This week, for Bloke of the Week, we have a Melbourne fan, and this post comes from Nuffy's on AFL pages. And as you can see, he's very happy with the D's season this year. So much so that he has got a tattoo, very well done, of every logo that Melbourne have ever had, by the looks of it. What do you make of this bloke and his tattoos? That's a very strong, what's that called?
Soul patch.
Soul patch.
Yeah, I didn't know that Backyard Charizard had a soul patch. I like it. I don't know why that not just one was enough, frankly. I would have stuck with... I kind of like that. Near his left nipple.
The one at the top right is
That's
definitely the worst. It looks like it was drawn on with a crayon.
Yeah, was that actually a logo? Was
Must
that
have been
like the
early
70s or
days.
something?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Anyway, what do you reckon this guy's called? Darren?
Jason.
Jason, you are the bloke of the week. The first final, Jesse, was Port Adelaide hosting Geelong down at Adelaide Oval, and we've brought in the pair man for this because it was a big win for your boys, Anthony. How are you feeling after that massive win on Friday night?
Mate, I'm absolutely buzzing. It's good to be back on the DrewFooty Show. I'm over the moon. It was a better result than I was expecting. I did have a feeling that we'd win going into it, but not like that. So it's been a massive couple of days celebrating what was a pretty impressive win.
I've been getting quite a lot of slack, if that's the right term. Flack. I've been getting a lot of flack, Anthony, about underestimating Port Adelaide. So for that, this week I'm going to give the winners of the week to Port Adelaide. There you go. Congratulations. And this week, the loser of the week is me. I'm the loser of the week this week. We've got...
So the same as every other week.
Get out of it. Can you read out these comments for me, Jesse, from some Port Adelaide fans who were just getting a bit angry with me?
Okay. So Port Adelaide legend wrote, Drewzy, you give us no credit for finishing top 2 LMAO for the entire season.
Sorry.
Kaviakos says, keep sleeping on Port Drewzy.
I won't.
And Aha Khan69 says, why did you tip Geelong, you silly wanker?
Yeah. Look, Port are in good form. I don't know, after that game against the Bulldogs, I just thought you guys weren't very clean, to be honest, Anthony. The skills were a little bit off, but you rectified that against the Cats, because you guys were bloody on. You were in control of this game for pretty much from start to finish. And I think compared from the first time you played earlier in the season when they won quite comfortably, I think one of the biggest differences was Alir. He went to the small forwards. He was playing on Gary Rowan, who's sort of medium forward, but Luke Dalhouse as well. So every time Geelong got that kick inside 50, Alir could just drift across the packs when the ball was targeted to Hawkins or Jeremy Cameron as well. What would you make of Alir's massive game?
A lot of people did question his spot in the All-Australian side, which a lot of people internally
That's
didn't.
baffling.
And I mean, he's been one of the better defenders. He's not a great one-on-one defender, and I think Ken Hinkley rectified that from the first time we played Geelong, where he had to play one-on-one with Jeremy Cameron, and Jeremy Cameron just ran him off his feet and couldn't help out in other contests, whereas on Friday night he played on a smaller player. Gary Rowan had one possession, so not only did he nullify Rowan, he also cut off as many inside 50s Geelong had as possible. And that first quarter, a lot of people in South Australia, Mark Rasciuto came out the other day and said it was arguably the best finals performance quarter he's seen. So that's big raps from Big Roo. I think Alir's role is not to be a one-on-one defender. It's him to be that intercept mark. And we say every year the players that we pick up are the missing link. You know, Charlie Dixon was the missing link. Paddy Ryder was the missing link and so forth. But Alir was generally the one we needed. That type of player, the intercept mark, was able to set us up. I think all of the first quarter goals were set up by him, and he's the recruit of the year. I can't say much more than how good he's been.
Anyone who's doubting Illyria's all-Australian spot is rather delusional or a Carlton fan, but those things usually just go hand in hand. So I think a massive in for you guys was obviously Orazio Fantasia. I think that was a massive difference between the Bulldogs game and this week, because he just has a touch of class, such high footy IQ. He kicked, was it 3 goals, Anthony?
4.
There you go. He come in for Mitch Georgiades. We have a question here from Zachary Centofanti, I believe. What should Port do with their team if Orazio is fit? Because he did go off. Should they stay unchanged if he's ready to go, or should they bring in Mitch Georgiades? Or what's the shuffle? Can you get out of Todd Marshall maybe? I don't know. What do you reckon?
After a performance like that, I don't want to go in with a change. I think unchanged would be the right decision. Orazio looks...
So don't bring in Mitch Georgiades?
No, keep him out. I think the balance is perfect. With 3 tools, Ladham's the resting ruck, Dixon the main target, Marshall's that link-up player that what he does without the footy is so much more important than what he does with it. So if he's kicking a goal and getting 10 touches, but he's taking 5 or 6 link-up marks, then Charlie Dixon will get on the scoreboard eventually. And if not, he's creating opportunities for the likes of Orazio, Motlop, Robbie Gray. There's so many avenues for us, and if Orazio's unfit to play, which I don't think will be the case, then Georgiades can come in and we play 4 tools. But yeah, I'd go in unchanged. I don't think there's any change necessarily we need to make unless Ken Hinkley sees something I don't, but normally Ken and I see eye to eye.
Anthony, I have a question for you. This week's semi-final, Brisbane versus Western Bulldogs, who are you going to be supporting? Who do you hope to face next week?
Look, I like the trend. We obviously bet the Dogs a couple of weeks ago, and I think, again, if we played them, it'd be a good matchup. But something tells me having the Lions back at the Adelaide Oval for a prelim, we're on this arc of we've lost every game to like the top 4 teams, but now we've beaten the Dogs, we've beaten Geelong, and I saw somewhere on Twitter where it said play the Lions, win, and then we play Melbourne at Optus Stadium, where we've lost to Melbourne early in the year and we haven't won at Optus Stadium this year. So changing the trend of winning everything that we lost earlier in the year might be something to do with that. But
I like that. Avenging the losses.
Yeah, that's it. So avenging the losses of earlier in the year. But look, regardless, if we play like we did Friday night against Geelong, I don't care who we play. I think we beat them.
Sweet. How are your premiership, your dreams and your hopes? How are they going?
I've said it for quite a while. If we end up playing the D's in the grand final, I'm confident because it's a grand final, and regardless, there's no next week. But I'm bullish, I'm excited, and I'm hoping we don't choke like we did last year. Look, the D's, they're the favourites at the moment. I saw them live on Saturday night against Brisbane. They dominated everything. There's very little ways you can beat them, and I think at the end of the day, it's just going to match their pressure, match their game plan. And I think we can do that if we play like we did on Friday night, but geez, it's going to be a very interesting end of season though, eh?
You and the D's are in pole position at the moment. I think you guys are a red-hot chance at the flag this year. I'm sorry for underestimating the team, and I'll apologise to the Port Adelaide Army, because there's nothing and more annoying than when someone doesn't rate your team and they're actually good. So
you did actually tip them to beat the Dogs in the final round that not many people did. So.
Yeah.
You know,
not
bad.
Yeah, respect.
If I'm honest, I did send about half my subscriber count to you for those comments, so you're welcome.
Alrighty, if you guys want all of the Port Adelaide analysis for the rest of the season, the pair will be smashing it all final series long, so make sure you head over to his channel and drop a subscription. Thank you for coming today, Anthony, you absolute sexy man.
It's been a pleasure, boys, and you're doing a great job, keeping yourself busy while you're not in the final series. So good stuff,
Get
lads.
out of it, Anthony. Alright, don't go subscribe.
We need hobbies.
Alright, cheers, Anthony.
See you, boys. Count the pair.
Sydney versus GWS down in Tassie in the third Sydney Derby. I got Sydney and Derby mixed up and it said Disney. That's another thing. I was at the national championships for this game, so I didn't get to watch it, but you streamed it.
Weird flex, but okay, continue.
I wasn't even flexing, bro. I didn't watch this game, and we will talk about the national championship game at the end of this video as well. But what did you make of this game? I only caught the last sort of 3 minutes when Buddy missed that set shot. And who else? Was it 32 for Sydney?
Bell was what I meant to say.
Hit the post as well.
Not a great miss.
Yeah. Are any misses great?
That one's particularly bad.
Had the chance to win this game. They had more inside 50s in this game. Heaney was lively for them with 4 goals. Buddy kicked 4 as well. So yeah, it was a tight game from what I could read out of it. But how did the game flow?
It was a really good game. I sort of, to toot my own horn here, I went into this game saying I reckon Heaney and Green will be the live wire players, and
weird flex, bro.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it was great to see Heaney fire. Luke Park also fought very hard in the midfield, but they just played catch up all day. I didn't feel like GWS were clearly the better team. They were just a little bit more clinical with the way they went about it, and Sydney just lurked a couple of goals behind all day, and I wouldn't say GWS were clearly the best side, and I was expecting the Sydney comeback to happen, and ultimately they would win the game, but the Giants would just prove too good, and I think when Bell misses right in front of goal, admittedly Hogan kicked a couple of points that should have been goals, to be honest, as well, and he played quite well. I think, overall the Giants just took their opportunities, and that's the tale for that.
Yeah, it's a pretty sad ending to Sydney's season, considering how lively they've been all year. And you mentioned, what was their record this year?
15-7.
How does that usually bode in finals?
Well, it can be a mixed bag, but 15-7 was the winning record of Richmond in 2017 when they won the flag, and the Bulldogs as well. So sometimes it gets you top spot, and sometimes it can get you 6th or 7th, which is funny. But either way, it's a very, very good record. There has been the cases of teams with around that record going out in week 1, but it's not overly common. So it's an underwhelming loss and way to go out of the season. But for where they are in the premiership landscape, I think it's one they can shrug off pretty quickly.
GWS have been beating the top sides. They haven't been consistent, but they've always been up for the fight against these top sides. They're going to go into the game against Geelong this week with a lot of confidence after beating them down at GMHBA a few weeks ago. We previewed that game on Just the Tips on the DrewFooty channel, so go check that out. But the biggest factor in that game is whether Toby Green will be playing or not, because he bumped an umpire. I don't know what everyone else's interpretation is of that, but I don't know. I don't think he should get rubbed out for that, especially given how big the game is. I want to see these big game players playing these games. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I agree. I really hope he doesn't get rubbed out. Hopefully he plays, but I also want to see justice done. Don't just let him off because it's a final.
Yeah. Melbourne played Brisbane on Saturday night, and we live streamed this game on the DrewFooty YouTube channel, and we watched it with a close eye in the first quarter. It was a Western shootout.
Greedo shot first.
Yeah, it was a shootout. Charlie Cameron had 3 goals. The D's looked a little bit shaky in defence, and when the ball fell to ground level, Charlie Cameron was there to scoop it up, and he was Brisbane's best player all game long, arguably, with Lachie Neale collecting 46 touches, which is absolutely bonkers, but Charlie Cameron was the tone setter, but no one else could, match his level. He had 5 goals. McStay copped a Jorge Masvidal knee to the nose and, got knocked out. Looked absolutely brutal, and he was in a state. Got subbed out straight away. So without Hipwood, without McStay, that's going to raise some questions for this week against the Bulldogs. But the D's, every quarter, they looked on. And something that I noticed in particular from the D's was their corridor kicking. Every time they got the ball on the wing, within a matter of seconds, they were into their kicking pattern and feeding that ball inside to the corridor to open up the ground and, hit up their forwards. None of their forwards really stood out in particular for me. Bailey Fritsch had 4 goals off 7 touches, so he was just effective. Ben Brown had 1, but they have multiple avenues to goal, as we say every week. Petrarca had 2, Clayton Oliver had 1, so they're always getting goals from midfield. Cozzy Pickett with a nice little snap crumb.
Out of the stoppage, that was really good.
And in that second quarter, the D's just screwed their head on. The Brisbane boys didn't kick a goal in that quarter, and then from there on, low scoring third term, but the D's just sailed home comfortably. Another great display from Petrarca and Oliver, as we say every week. What'd you make of the football game?
He said everything, and you're like, your turn. Yeah, it was an entertaining game, despite, a goalless second quarter from Brisbane and a goalless third quarter from Melbourne. I think it was just a case of, even though Melbourne weren't scoring, they really shot off. Brisbane only kicked like 2 goals, 1 or something else in that third term as well. So it was a really well-defended game. I think Brisbane only kicked 9 goals, 6, so 15 shots a goal. When you're keeping a team to 15 shots a goal, most of the time you're going to win the game. So, they firmly entrenched themselves as the team to beat.
Yep.
It's good that they avoid playing Port Adelaide in Adelaide now. Yeah. So no matter what happens, if they play Port Adelaide, it'll be in Perth is the only possible scenario. So good result for the Demons. They're looking ominous, and it's just going to be a case of if they bring 100% application to the remaining 2 games, they're clearly going to win the flag, in my opinion.
One of the more impressive things that I've noticed from the Demons is they never lose control of the game. Like, even when the momentum is going against them, it doesn't take them until a quarter time or a half time break to sort of get a rev up. Like they just have the maturity in their list to turn the tide in games. Which is very impressive. Joe Danaher was nowhere to be seen in this game, I believe. I don't think he kicked a goal. Had an important set shot in that third term, I believe, which he missed. Or might have been the fourth, but yeah, just completely scuffed it. He's literally the focal point of that forward line now without McStay and Hipwood. So they're limping into the semi-final next week against the Bulldogs, who we will get onto next. But Brisbane, it's not looking great, their premiership chances after that loss to the D's.
Yeah, they'll have to do it the hard way by knocking off Port Adelaide in Adelaide. They are a team that they've played well against Port in recent meetings, but I think a lot of them were actually at the Gabba.
Yeah.
So an away hostile crowd. I still think they can do it, but it does make it harder. How their forward line's going to compete with, Alir and Jonas and all those defenders that Port Adelaide have. So, yeah, interesting times.
Bulldogs played Essendon down in Tassie, and it was a wet, slippery and cold game. The game got off to a slow start. Neither team could really just grab the game and take control, just because it was a bit slippery, and when things are slippery, you just can't get as much grip. Dogs come out in the second half with some vigour, and they just... won the game. Cody Waitman had 4 goals from free kicks, so he was just getting under the Essendon boys' skin, winning free kicks to Essendon fans' disgust.
Chagrin.
8 goals to nothing in that second half, so the Dogs just had a lot off the ball. They had a lot of time in forward half, just suffocated Essendon, lots of pressure. The kickouts were just going straight to Bulldogs players who were set up really well behind the ball, and it was just repeat entries. Pretty miserable way for Essendon to finish the season, and I'm pretty happy that Freo didn't make the finals in hindsight. We go up in the draft order, and just seeing Essendon get absolutely embarrassed by 49 points it was in the end. Freo would have got pumped by about 80 in that game. So, happy days. We didn't make finals. Parrish and Merritt were clearly the best players again for Essendon, but other than that, no real contributors. And Aaron Norton literally didn't take a mark until the last quarter. Once the game was dead and buried, he popped up with 2 goals.
He loves to lay the food into Aaron Norton. It was pissing him down.
Yeah.
And Peter Wright also didn't touch the ball much.
Yeah.
So not the greatest conditions for Norton. I did think it was funny how he kind of over-celebrated his goal right in front to stretch the margin to 45 points.
We got a comment here from Harry Rennick, and he says 6,203 plus 365.
At best.
Alluding to days that Essendon haven't won a final since 2004 against the D's, I believe it was. I was 3 years old then.
It is unfortunate that people are focusing so much on that. I feel like Essendon had a successful season, scraped into finals when people didn't expect, and they played a team that we all agreed was far better.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Dogs looked a bit vulnerable coming into the finals, but they flicked the switch back and won a game they should have won. I think 49 points also maybe looked at a bit more one-sided than it actually was. It was just Essendon just couldn't buy a goal in that second half, but I don't think they were getting trampled. It was just 4 goals 12 shows that they just couldn't generate the scores.
Yeah, especially 4 goals from free kicks from Waitman. Like, that just took the game out of reach.
A lot of people are talking about how that happens because it just makes it, half opportunities become, really easy chances when there's free kicks in front of goal. In the wet, scrappy conditions, it could have been closer.
Yeah, it just makes all the difference, doesn't it? Given that we only have 4 games to review, Jesse, we are going to talk about the National Championship game between WA and South Australia. South Australia having one of the highest touted picks in the draft in Horn Francis, and WA made it an emphasis to go after him and not make it easy for him. All of the mids were getting into him, chirping up to him, and he sort of went into his shell. He played a little bit of time in the forward line, had a goal assist or 2, but didn't really have that impact in the middle, which we have seen.
Am I right in thinking that WA did a similar thing to Matt Rowell a couple of years ago? Yeah, so it is unfortunate when this game is a showcase of kids' talent, that they just try and nullify the number 1 or 2 kid. But, hopefully recruiters will look past that.
Yeah. So who were the more impressive players in this game? Jacob Van Rooyen usually plays in the forward line, but given WA had no key backs available for this game, he played in defence, and you can just see his athleticism and just translated really well to the back line. He had a really solid game in defence. Matthew Johnson played in the middle. He played a lot of one-on-one on Horn and clearly got the one-up in that matchup, so he's going to be a highly touted player in this draft, I believe. Cade Dittmar, a very Bailey Smith-esque looking player. He's got the blonde mullet. Got the look, got the swagger. He had a lot of
moves like Jagger.
Yeah, moves like Jagger. He does. He moves very well. He had a lot of the uncontested ball and moved the ball up the ground very well. So he's gonna go in the draft, I believe. Jed Hagen has been playing in the state system all year. He played in the under 17s. He's from Geraldton, plays for East Freo, but he's 16 and he played in the under 19s game in defence and he looked really solid. Definitely earned his spot in that game. I'm just going to keep going through the players. I was impressed by Ethan Regan. I think he played a bit at like half back, maybe half forward. Had a lot of the uncontested ball. He's just like a silky smooth, like Sean Burgoyne type operator. Did his hammy in the last quarter, I believe, but he's an Eagles Academy player, so you guys will probably get your hands on him. Angus Sheldrick, a short, stocky left foot, really good kick on both feet. He really dominated in the first half out of the middle.
Midfielder?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so.
Jack Williams up forward. He's one of the higher touted forwards out of WA. Kicked a couple, I believe. Took some good marks. Eric Benning, the ruckman, showed his athleticism and how well he can move around the ground for a ruckman. Jesse Motlop. I'm not sure which Motlop he's related to, but he plays exactly how you would...
Daniel, I think.
Yeah?
I could be making that up. I think it's Daniel Motlop.
He plays exactly how you'd expect a Motlop to move. Very quick in the forward line, little forward pocketer, leads up the ground well. Moves like Cozzy Pickett, sort of Motlop type-esque player. Jack Avery, True Footy Podcast alumni, played in this game, and he didn't put a foot wrong.
Friend of the channel.
Yeah, I hope he really gets drafted because he's got the heart. He's a very smart player as well. His positioning's really good.
Playing league for Perth at the moment.
Yes.
As well, which is a step up from where he was when we interviewed him as well.
He was probably a standout in the back line along with Finn Gorringe for me in that game. So
Nice.
I'm hoping for Jack that he gets drafted.
That'd be awesome.
Jace Burgoyne as well. I'm not sure which Burgoyne he's related to, but he's from South Australia, so one of the... who was the other one that...
Peter, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He plays exactly how a Burgoyne would play off the half-back line, just a tall, slim, silky player. And that's that. WA got the win by, I think, 29 points in the end. Happy days for WA. I think they might be playing South Australia in South Australia at some point, COVID permitting. But that's going to wrap up this week's episode of the DrewFooty Show. Make sure you keep it locked to our channels all throughout finals. Subscribe if you're enjoying the content. Trying to hit 6K. Jesse, are you on 14K yet?
No.
Go help Jesse get
Thank
to
you.
14K. Drewzy United out tomorrow, but if not, we'll see you for more content when it comes out.
Goodbye.
Bye.